Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
And I'm Mike.
And today is January 1st, so Happy New Year to all of you out there. I assume you have the day off. But, if you are celebrating the New Year, you might be going to parties and having lots of things to eat.
True.
And you might have something to drink, too.
True.
Maybe you'll have some Coca-Cola.
It's a popular thing to serve at parties, isn't it? The older people might drink something like a wine or beer, but everyone of all ages would like to have some Coca-Cola, not only at parties, but with your favorite fast food meal, when you're watching a movie, at a sports event. I can hardly think of a time when it's not fun to drink Coca-Cola, except maybe right before you go to bed, because it can wake you up, like coffee a little bit, too. So maybe avoid it before bedtime. But Coca-Cola has been a popular soft drink for a very long time, and that probably means people like it.
Indeed, and we like it, too. I kind of try to avoid it because it's got a little bit too much sugar for me.
It does have sugar, yes.
But, some people are okay with that. So we are going to talk about a little bit about the history of Coca-Cola and some fun facts about Coca-Cola, surprising facts about Coke. So let's get to it. Let's read the entire contents of our lesson one time.
What's the most common drink in the world? It's hard to say. After water, it might be coffee or tea. But it's also possible that it's Coca-Cola, the world's favorite soft drink. In fact, the Coca-Cola company claims that more people recognize Coca-Cola than any other term in the world, except OK. The drink's popularity is so great that thousands of cans, bottles, and glasses of it are consumed every second. The name Coca-Cola comes from the drink's original two major ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts. The modern recipe for the soda still contains coca leaves, though the cocaine is removed before they're used. Additionally, the cola nuts have been replaced with caffeine. Coke was initially meant to be a medicine for various diseases. Over time, though, it started being sold simply as a tasty drink. Within 10 years of its creation, it could be bought throughout the United States, and in the present day, it's sold in almost every country on Earth. The fizzy drink is even responsible for one of American culture's most enduring images. In the 1930s, the Coca-Cola Company hired artist Haddon Sundblom to draw their Christmas advertisements. He painted a plump, jolly Santa Claus with a big, thick beard, which soon became the most common way to draw him. Although Sundblom wasn't the first to draw Santa Claus that way, his Coca-Cola ads were so widespread that his painting became famous across the U.S. Coca-Cola is one of the world's best-known brands, in addition to being a popular drink. For many people, it's the most common thing to reach for when they're feeling thirsty.
Okay, let's talk about the contents of today's lesson. We have some surprising facts about Coca-Cola, some things about Coke that you may not know. So we're beginning this lesson by asking a question. What's the most common drink in the world? Okay, what's the most popular drink? What is the drink that you see most often if you travel around the world? But, that's kind of hard to say. How can you ask everybody what their favorite drink is all over the world? It's hard to do so much research. So after water, it might be coffee or tea, but it's also possible that it's Coca-Cola, the world's favorite soft drink.
There you go. In fact, as we read on, it says, in fact, here's something that's even more true, even more interesting. In fact, the Coca-Cola Company claims that more people recognize Coca-Cola than any other term in the world except OK. Wow, that is quite an astonishing thing to say, but when you think about it, it could be true. This is a claim. This is something the Coca-Cola Company says. I don't know if they've actually done a lot of research, but the idea here is that Coca-Cola, the word Coca-Cola, is something that people all around the world, no matter what language they read or speak or use, even if they don't use English, they can still see these letters, C-O-C-A, C-O-L-A, and recognize it as a product, a drink, Coca-Cola. It's the most easily understood term except except for okay. When people write the letter okay, people know that it means good, fine, excellent, something like that. Well, the number 2 thing that anyone around the world, even people who don't speak English, can recognize is Coca-Cola. When you recognize something, you look at it and you know what it is. Basically, your brain has seen it before, you have some experience with it, you've learned about it, and you can identify it. When you're walking down the street, if there's someone you know, you will suddenly stop. Your eyes and your brain and your attention will be drawn to that person because you recognize that person. Most of us don't recognize many people when we walk around because there are so many people in the world. But if you see someone that you've met before, a friend, a family member, you will probably recognize that person very, very quickly. Let's go back to Coca-Cola and how popular it is. Apparently, people around the world can read the term even if they don't speak English. But it also says the drink's popularity is so great that thousands of cans, bottles, and glasses of it are consumed every second. Every second. So in the time it takes me to say the word second, thousands of cans, bottles, and glasses of Coca-Cola have just been drunk all around the world.
That's amazing. I've
heard it's the most popular drink after water.
That's what you've heard, huh?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's true, but I've also heard that.
I think the Coca-Cola company would like to hear you say
Probably,
that.
yes.
But indeed, I'm just hoping that when people drink those thousands of cans, bottles, and glasses of Coca-Cola, that they have some means for recycling all those cans and bottles and stuff like that.
And hopefully they only have one a day, because having more than one Coke a day would be a lot of sugar.
True, indeed. And I also wanted to say that the term Coca-Cola may be recognized both when it's spoken and when it's written, because Coca-Cola has that special font. You know, it's kind of a cursive script there.
Yeah.
So people may recognize that as much as they do when someone actually says Coca-Cola.
Good point. All right, let's look at the name Coca-Cola. It says the name Coca-Cola comes from the drink's original 2 major ingredients, coca leaves and cola nuts. That's why it's called Coca-Cola, because originally that's the way it was made when it was first created. It's a little different today. We'll learn about that. But originally, they put coca leaves and cola nuts and some water and sugar, and that's basically how they made the drink, and that's where the name came from. What is an ingredient? An ingredient is what you put into a food to make that food. Now, we wouldn't say that bananas are the ingredients in bananas, because that is an ingredient. But if you're using bananas to make a cake or a banana-flavored bread or anything like that, then the bananas would be one of your ingredients. If you're making banana bread, you'd also probably have flour, you'd have sugar, you might have some milk or cream or all sorts of other stuff in there. When you look at the back of a package of food, it'll often say what's inside the food. And if you're cooking, that's the other thing. If you're cooking, the cookbook, the recipe book will list out the ingredients that you need to get together before you start to make the dish. If you don't have all the ingredients, well, then the food you're trying to make will taste funny, or it might be just terrible. Anyway, so ingredients are things that go into food.
Exactly. So, for example, we've talked about Genju Naicha, pearl milk tea. We've talked about that quite a bit. So, if I can remember, I think the ingredients are black tea, milk, sugar, and tapioca balls.
Okay.
Those are the major ingredients, although they may have some variances here and there, but those are the basic ingredients of pearl milk tea here. And the 2 original ingredients, the major ones, the big ones, were coca leaves and cola nuts. Now, the modern recipe for the soda still contains coca leaves, though the cocaine is removed before they're used. So cocaine, of course, is a popular drug. It's a controlled substance, so don't get caught using it or you're going to be in big trouble here. But it comes from coca leaves, but they are removed before they're used to make Coca-Cola. So these are some of the major ingredients, coca leaves. And, of course, the cocaine is removed, so you're not going to get high by drinking Coke.
No. Additionally, it says the cola nuts have been replaced with caffeine. So cola nuts used to go into the Coca-Cola, but they've been replaced with more common caffeine. This probably just comes as a powder. Caffeine, of course, is that stuff that's in coffee that wakes you up and gives you energy. And that's why we mentioned, don't drink Coca-Cola or coffee before you try to go to sleep, because the caffeine will stop stop you from feeling tired, which is good sometimes, but not before bedtime. Additionally, we use this basically to show that we're adding another sentence with more facts, with more information, but it relates to what we were talking about before. It's all connected. Everything is just as important, and that you should think of all of this information kind of as a group. So we could say also, in addition, and furthermore, things like that, just to kind of let you know that what we're talking about now is related to what we were talking about just before. Now, originally, we learned next that Coke, or Coca-Cola, was actually not made as just a drink.
Yep, it was initially, or at least at the beginning, it was meant to be a medicine for various diseases.
Imagine being sick and the doctor says, go home and drink a can of Coke.
Indeed. Well, they probably didn't have it at home. They probably had to give them a prescription for that Coke. Here, go down to the pharmacy and pick yourself up some Coca-Cola for your various diseases. So here we've got the word various, which means different from other kinds of things. Different kinds of diseases, basically. It could be the cold. It could be the flu or something. They prescribed Coca-Cola for these various diseases. And I think at that time it actually still contained the cocaine, if I'm not mistaken, or at least in the early days, Coke did come with caffeine. Excuse me, it came with cocaine, which of course was later illegal and they had to take it out.
Within 10 days of its creation, it could be bought throughout the United States. And in the present day, it's sold in almost every country on earth. There you go. So it obviously became quite popular quite quickly. 10 years from its creation to when it could be bought throughout the United States. So it was invented, I think, down in Atlanta in Georgia, or at least that's where the Coca-Cola company is these days. So wherever its creation, wherever it started, wherever it was created, then 10 years passed and it was all around the United States, across the whole country. Creation, as I mentioned, is where something comes from, where it was made first, where it was created, where it was born, possibly. We wouldn't really use that to talk about, my place of creation was the hospital in Taipei. No, the place you were born was the hospital. But for things, for ideas, for something like that, then we could use this word to talk about the place that it first started. I think, for example, back to your reference to Genju Naicha, a pearl milk tea, I think most people agree that Taichung is the place where the creation of pearl milk tea happened, right?
Yeah, it was created there in Taichung, or maybe Tainan. Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
I think it was Taichung, but they're still arguing about exactly which tea shop can be credited for its creation, for making it for the first time.
Yeah, I think we talked about that in our program pretty recently, actually. But in less than 10 years of its creation, it could be bought all throughout the United States. So from, Washington State to Florida, from Maine to California, Tennessee, New Mexico, you could probably buy Coca-Cola. And I suspect it also made its way up into Canada there and down to Mexico and eventually throughout the entire world. Okay, that brings us to the midway point in today's lesson. Let's take a break right now, but stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Shelby. 今天来看看世界上相当受欢迎的饮料之一——可口可乐。第一题，可口可乐宣称呢，除了 OK 知道可口可乐一词的人，比知道什么词语的人还多。空格更浅一点的 more 以及 than 形成了比较级的语法。空格之后的 term 是单数，提供了线索，暗示这一句是用比较级加 than any other 单数名词的语法来表示最高级。所以我们答案选 D any other。第二题，这饮料是如此受欢迎，以至于 thousands of cans, bottles, and glasses of it are blink every second。每秒钟都有几千瓶罐被怎么样子？选项 A consumed 被吃喝消费掉， B chewed 被咀嚼， C delighted 感到满意开心， D disgusted 感到厌恶。依照文意，许多的可口可乐被吃下肚，所以答案我们选 A consumed。第三题 The modern blank for the soda still contains coke leaves 现代的什么仍含古柯叶，尽管古柯碱已经去除。上一句提到两种主要的原料， 这句说明呢，仍保留骨科液，虽然去除了骨科碱。在选项的 A grasp 捉紧， B recipe 食谱， C appeal 吸引， D parade 游行，表示可口可乐现代的配方仍然含有骨科液，所以这题我们答案选 B recipe。 第4题 Coke was blank meant to be a medicine for various diseases。 可乐是怎么样子作为各种疾病的药物？后面的句子说，随着时间的转移，它变成好喝的饮料。而这题呢，它的动词是用过去式，表示呢这是以前发生的事情。那选项 A roughly 大约大概， B gradually 逐渐地， C initially 起初地， D constantly 持续不断地。所以这题答案我们要选 C initially 起初地，表示过去的时间才能配合文意。
We're going to take a short break now, but please stay tuned. We'll be right back. Okay, we will continue with our lesson for today. We're talking about some surprising facts about Coca-Cola. By the way, Mike is still with me today because Stephanie is still on vacation. She'll be back soon. And again, we're talking about Coca-Cola here on the first day of January. Happy 2020, everybody. And, of course, we did talk about the two major ingredients. They were coca leaves and cola nuts, but the caffeine is removed. And, of course, the cola nuts were replaced with caffeine, and it's also available all throughout the world now.
All right, the fizzy drink is even responsible for one of American culture's most enduring images. All right, we'll find out about what that enduring image was, what that famous picture was. But to be responsible for basically means you're the one who did it. You're the one who we can give the credit to, or you're the one who we can give the blame to. All right, if you're responsible for something, it was because of your actions, your decisions, what you did, that something happened. As I said, if it's something good, well, bravo, good for you. You deserve a pat on the back because you're the one who's responsible. But if it was a problem, an accident, a mistake, well, then you also have to take the blame because you are responsible for something. It's because of you that something not so good happened. But in this case, we can give Coca-Cola, or at least the Coca-Cola company, the credit for one of American culture's most enduring images, for one of its most sort of famous pictures, but not just picture, a character, in fact, or the way we view a certain character. I think that would be a little more accurate.
Yeah, I was going to say the character was already there, but they're the ones who kind of made the image that most people remember.
Right.
So let's talk about this. Going back to the 1930s, that was the time of the Great Depression, the Coca-Cola Company hired artist Haddon Sundblom to draw their Christmas advertisements. So, of course, as you know, companies have advertisements to promote their product. And Christmas was coming, and they thought, gee, Christmas is a great time to promote Coca-Cola. People will have a few days off from work, and they'll be, having some fun, attending parties and things like that. So maybe they would actually like to buy some kind of drink. So let's kind of promote this by drawing advertisements here. And they hired this guy, I guess he's an illustrator, to draw their Christmas advertisements. I guess they didn't use photographs so much then, they used illustrations.
That's right. So what did he do? Well, he painted a plump, jolly Santa Claus with a big, thick beard, which soon became the most common way to draw him. I think I remember this picture. I remember seeing the picture. He's plump, he's jolly, so he's got those chubby cheeks, those red, shiny, chubby cheeks. He's got a nice little smile, that big, thick, white beard that we always think of Santa Claus as having. And I believe in the picture he's wearing the typical red hat with the white fur around it. He really looks like what we think of as Santa Claus. If you look at some of the older pictures of Santa Claus, Claus. And some of them, he kind of wears like a long robe. In other words, he's decorated in different ways. But this image of Santa Claus, the big beard, the jolly smile, the red hat, that's the kind of thing we think of when we think of Santa Claus. And it was actually Coca-Cola Company that used that image for the first time in one of their ads. It says, although Sundblom wasn't the first to draw Santa Claus that way, his Coca-Cola ads were so widespread that his painting became famous across the U.S. So there may have been some other images, some other artists who drew Santa in a similar way, but because the ads were popular and because Coca-Cola was being sold all across America, people all across America saw the same ads, and that version of Santa Claus kind of got stuck in people's minds.
Yep, so it is true that he was not the first person to draw Santa Claus that way, as a plump, jolly fella with a thick beard, an older white guy. And, of course, he wasn't the first to do that, but, of course, because it was the Coca-Cola Company, they became widespread. The advertisements became widespread, very common. You could see them all over the place, all over the U.S., and I'm sure in other countries as well. So, indeed, the point here is that the Coca-Cola Company did hire this illustrator to draw him, and that's why we have this image today. I'm not sure if they're the ones who came up with the story of Santa Claus and the reindeer living at the North Pole or something like that. I'm not sure if they're the ones who came up with that story.
Well, the reindeer were in that famous book, right? The Night Before Christmas?
That sounds familiar. Indeed, I should know that because Christmas just passed us by there. But as you know, here in Taiwan, we don't get the day off for Christmas, so I did not have time to sing my Christmas carols and drink my eggnog and open presents like I normally do. But hey, let's move on now to the final paragraph here. It says, Coca-Cola is one of the world's best-known brands, in addition to being a popular drink. So here we've got the word brand, which is basically something that a company produces. It's a product that has a name, and it usually has a recognizable logo.
For many people, it's the most common thing to reach for when they're feeling thirsty. Yep, even today, Coca-Cola is very, very popular. People drink it all the time, but especially when they're feeling thirsty. When you're thirsty, your body is telling you it needs something to drink. You have that funny feeling in your mouth, or your body is sort of saying, I want to slow down, give me something to drink. And if you can't, if you don't want to drink water, or if you're having just one a day or something, I guess it's okay to reach for Coca-Cola. When we reach for something, that means we get something, we grab something, we take hold of something. We also just use it to talk about the choices that we make, the things that we like, the things that we often do. For example, if you're waiting for a bus in Taiwan or around the world, one of the common things that people do if they're waiting for the bus is they reach for their phones. They see the bus is coming, they have some time to kill, some minutes to pass, so they reach for their phones. It doesn't mean it's far away and you have to stretch and reach. You could grab it from your pocket, but it basically means that's the activity or that's the thing that they choose to take or to use in order to do something. So when you're thirsty, you might reach for a Coke. When you're bored, you might reach for your phone, that type of thing.
I remember when I was a kid, of course, we mostly drank Coke in bottles. And we had this Coke machine at my father's gas station.
Oh, okay.
And, of course, you put the coins in the slot, and then you pulled the bottle out.
Yep.
And then when you were done drinking it, there was this little carton that you put it back in for recycling. But nowadays, I think most people drink Coke from cans or from those big plastic bottles that you can buy from convenience stores and take with you for barbecues or whatever. And, of course, Coca-Cola comes in different varieties, too. Don't they have, like, Coke Zero and Vanilla Coke and Cherry Coke and stuff like that?
Lemon.
Are you a big Coke drinker, Mike?
I might have one or two a month.
1 or 2 a month? Okay,
yeah, not that often. But, if I'm having a hamburger or something like that, it goes well with fast food of certain types, yeah.
And, of course, mentioning Coca-Cola here for me reminds me of all the old commercials, but I'm not sure if I'm able to, sing along because they probably are copyrighted, but I think you probably know what they are. Things go better with Coca-Cola, and I'd like to teach the world to sing or something like that. They're all based on Coca-Cola advertisements. And guess what? That brings us to the end of our discussion for today. It's time now to listen to our Chinese teacher.
第5题 The fizzy drink 气泡饮料是美国文化中最怎么样子的形象产生的原因？ 后面的句子提到，从30年代起，可口可乐的圣诞老人变成最为代表圣诞老人的形象。30年代到现在这么久，当然就有持续的意思咯。选项 A graceful 优雅的， B temporary 暂时的， C enduring 持续长时间的， D frustrating 令人沮丧的。所以我们这题答案选 C enduring 持续长时间的。第6题，空格 Sunbloom 并非第一个用这个方式绘制圣诞老人，但是他的画作如此的广泛流传，以至于闻名全美。在这一句话中的上半部，他不是第一个这样画圣诞老人，下半部他的画作却广为流传，上下语义有转折。那选项 A since 因为， B although 虽然， C when 当， D provided 如果。所以呢，答案选 B although 虽然，可以用来表示转折的语气。第7题， Coca-Cola is one of the world's best known brands. In addition blank a popular drink. 这题呢，我们要考 in addition to 加 v-ing 或者名词的用法。in addition to 介系词片语，如果后面是加动词，就要改成 v-ing 的形式。所以呢，我们这题答案选 D to being， 表示除了什么之外。整句的意思，除了是一种受欢迎的饮品，可口可乐还是知名的品牌。以上是今天的讲解，谢谢收听。
Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Thank you so much for joining us, and enjoy the new year. We wish you all the peace and prosperity that you deserve, and please join us again next time for another edition of our program. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
And I'm Mike.
Goodbye.